So many cellists fight for a big sound, pressing harder, pulling faster, straining muscles, but real power and tone production doesn't actually come from the arms. It's built from the ground up. Physiologists already have a name for this. It's called the kinetic chain, the way the body organizes movement so we can generate power with surprisingly little effort. And honestly, I don't know why we aren't using the term in string playing. We teach all the pieces of it, alignment, balance, sequential movement, but we somehow avoid the name that perfectly describes what's happening. I think it's time we call it what it is. In this video, we'll describe setup from the ground up and look at how the way we sit, balance, and move sets the stage for bowing that's powerful, free, and supported by the whole body. Let's dive in. We'll organize this video in 4 sections: floor to body, cello to body to arm, and arm to bow. In another video set, we'll explore what happens between the bow and the string and introduce something that I call the traction model. The video will be linked below when it's available. The kinetic chain is a concept from physiology that helps explain efficient power and control. Simply put, movement flows from larger, stronger muscle groups to smaller, more precise ones. This is easy to see in slow motion footage of a baseball pitcher. The throw begins in the legs and the torso, travels through the shoulders and arms, and finally releases the ball with incredible speed and accuracy. Power flows like a whip, starting at the base and snapping at the end. Timing the movements and shifting the body's center of gravity make the motion both powerful and effortless. On the cello, the same idea applies. Some movements, like a fast shift, transfer momentum from the upper arm to the hand. This is considered an open kinetic chain, where the end of the chain is free. But power and tone production isn't about raw speed. It's about efficient transfer of weight, which makes control much easier. Here, the kinetic chain is closed and organizes larger proximal muscles like the torso, shoulders, and upper arms to handle the primary work, while smaller distal muscles like the forearm, wrist, and fingers refine the motion and maintain stability. Here's a key takeaway. If a task can be powered by or supported by gravity or a larger muscle group, it's usually more efficient and consistent than trying to rely on smaller muscles alone. With this principle in mind, let's start at the foundation, the chair and how you sit in it. A flat or slightly forward tilting chair is ideal. Chairs that slope backward force you to fight gravity as the chair pulls you backward, adding strain to your back. If your chair slopes backward, a wedge on the seat or blocks under the back legs can correct it. Here's a quick test. Sit in playing position. Can you stand up without lunging forward? If not, adjust your feet or lean slightly forward from the hips. Leaning forward does not mean slouching or rounding your spine. Keep the natural lumbar curve in your lower back while tilting the torso from your hips. Proper cello positioning allows you power and control without tension. Here are a few checkpoints. The back edge of the lower belt should rest inside your left knee, with the cutout above the leg so the bow never hits it. The front of your right knee should line up roughly with the top of the cello to help stabilize the instrument. The back edge of the upper belt rests against your sternum, and the C-peg, which I don't have one, but imagine it's there. The C-peg should be just behind your neck at about ear level. The cello neck should be close to your neck to reduce strain in the left arm and make the strings more vertical, which helps with bow angles. Relative to your shoulders, the cello should be rotated slightly to the right, making the A string easier to access by the bow. Along with adjusting the end pin and floor contact point, leaning slightly forward from the hips can help you achieve good cello position. Upper body movement plays a key role in the kinetic chain. Philosophies differ between great players. Some move with the bow, some against, or use other combinations. Perhaps there are times for each. Since balance is a guiding principle of this video, I'm going to advocate for counter movement. During a down bow, the upper body shifts slightly to the left, almost like you're pushing off with your right foot, and vice versa. In general, movement like this helps eliminate tension in the upper body as well. Torso rotation is also the largest scale movement that controls string crossings. Your shoulders should face toward the string being played. Keep in mind that smaller muscles in your shoulder, elbow, and wrist can refine control in more intricate string crossings as necessary. If your shoulders don't rotate on string crossings, smaller muscles have to overcompensate, leading to muscle tension and fatigue. Here's a helpful exercise to feel the torso in string crossings. It's called the owl. Try slurring all 4 strings from A to C in a single down bow, turning your upper body to the right. Go the opposite direction on an up bow. You can also add a simple left-hand figure to each string. This helps you build awareness of the balance between torso rotation and smaller muscles that refine string crossings. The joints in your arm transfer energy from the body to the bow in a coordinated sequence: the shoulder, elbow, wrist, and finally the fingers. Your shoulder should remain relaxed, with the scapula settled low to prevent tension in the trapezius muscle from shrugging. As the largest joint capable of generating bow motion, the shoulder serves as the primary initiator of most bow strokes and changes in bow direction. Keep in mind that your shoulder has at least a couple ways to contribute to bow motion. The first is rotation within the shoulder socket, which accounts for most left and right bow movement. The other important but more disguised motion is the protraction and retraction of the scapula. Think of this as closing the shoulder blades, which is retraction, and you do this on a down bow, and opening them, protraction, on an up bow. The shoulder also regulates elbow height, the upper arm rotating up for higher strings or upper bow regions, also called abduction. The elbow has many jobs. Like the shoulder, it's capable of powering bow strokes, but it specializes in faster ones and quick string crossings. When driving bow movements like these, the elbow acts as a kind of double lever, according to Mantle's cello technique, that counterbalances the rapid movements between the upper arm and the hand. To see and feel the double lever, pretend to repeatedly shake water off your hand, outward, downward, or in circles. Notice how when the arm is relaxed, the elbow moves in the opposite direction of the hand, serving as a counterbalance. This makes the elbow more stable when regulating rapid, repetitive bow movements. Compare this to trying to accomplish the same goal with only the shoulder. Notice how it shakes your entire body with it. In general, the hand pronates, leaning into the first finger. This pronation is most obvious on up bows. Players will supinate or lean more toward the pinky on down bows. Raising the elbow is helpful in the upper half of the bow when combined with hand pronation and upward, not inward, force in the thumb. This creates an efficient torque system for transferring arm weight into the string: upward force through the thumb and downward force through the first finger. The wrist serves several key functions. First, it regulates bow angle. Without bending the wrist, the tip would be too high at the frog and too low at the tip. At the frog, especially on lower strings, the wrist bends to keep the bow more perpendicular to the string, then gradually straightens when moving toward the tip or higher strings. Second, it contributes to faster bow strokes and string crossings. In a sautier stroke, for example, the wrist can move passively while the elbow supplies the primary movement. Alternatively, it can take a more active role, providing the motion itself with only minimal elbow involvement. Lastly, the wrist works together with the fingers to control bow hair tilt, regulating how much hair makes contact with the string at any given time. If your wrist is naturally high in a sautier stroke, as if suspended by a string, it's more flexible and helps place more hair on the string for better bite. Your bow fingers mediate arm movement in the bow and provide the fine control at the very end of the kinetic chain. Your bow hand should stay relaxed and flexible, with fingers spaced naturally and curved. At this distal end of the chain, your fingers rarely lead movement, perhaps only in collé strokes. In most cases, they just respond, acting as shock absorbers and mediators between the arm and the bow. When we change bow direction in legato playing, the motion is initiated by the shoulder and travels down the arm, with the fingers responding last by leaning. To feel your fingers as a conduit for weight to be placed in the bow, hold the bow just above the string, then release the fingers and let gravity settle it into place. Notice how the fingers adjust automatically to support the bow's weight without tension. Try to wiggle the string side to side once the bow is settled and the bow hand is relaxed. Everything we've covered so far builds toward the moment of truth, where the bow meets the string. That's where sound is born and where the new framework I created for sound production called the traction model begins. You can find that video linked below and on the screen when it's available. If you found this video helpful, please hit like and subscribe so you don't miss other videos like it. If you have thoughts, questions, or your own discoveries, share them in the comments. And if you know someone who might find this interesting, go ahead and share it with them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.